ribbly rants on them, so I guess we're gonna do that. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's fun. I like MMOs. I love these online games, and there's a lot of juicy drama. There's a lot of juicy topics I think we can sink our teeth in here, especially when it comes to the community aspect of MMOs, like the MMO community. So I guess I'm gonna jump in and try to be a proper community member, an upstanding citizen of this civilization we have, the MMO culture. And I want to talk about the idea that a game is an MMO or it simply isn't an MMO. And that's funny coming from me, right? So you probably think that I have a very set definition here of what an MMO is. If you watch a lot of my videos, you know I'm very hard on that aspect of that we should have a very or as strict a definition as possible. That it's important whenever we are organizing games that they have their own distinct genres. And that's going to be for any genre. I know there's a lot of drama with roguelike versus roguelite, things like that. But the MMO space is really freaking amoebus. Now, I do partake of many MMO forums. One of them is /r/MMORPG. Now, I know a lot of my peers also partake of this particular subreddit as well, or they skim through it. It's often very cancerous, and it's often very repetitious. Basically, it's just people constantly asking, hey, what MMO can I play? And then often you'll see answers of stuff like, hey, play Vindictus. Hey, play Destiny. Hey, play Warframe, Path of Exile. And normally that would just kind of slide by. But now, I don't know if it's from my efforts or a collective community consciousness has started to arise, because it's pretty obvious when you have channels like MMO Bytes constantly spamming games that are like 1v1 games, calling them MMOs. People are starting to realize, it's leaving a bad taste in their mouth, and it's making it hard to find games. So this forum, I've become very proud of it. I mean, the pride. I'm becoming more hopeful for this forum, at least, because we're seeing more and more people lash back. And, with Monster Hunter just recently releasing on PC, people were saying, hey, they were posting it on /r/MMORPG and asking, hey, man, is this a good MMO? Honestly, everyone should just be like, no, it's not a good MMO, because it's not an MMO. And you know what? A lot of people did respond like that. And of course, a lot of people were like, yeah, well, Monster Hunter is a cool game. It's got aspects that you come to expect, like dungeoneering kind of a little bit in MMOs. I can kind of see a similarity, but when it comes to online gameplay, more and more people are realizing there is a distinction mechanically between there is an MMO, what is an MMO and what isn't an MMO. But this is funny. This is funny. I am actually here to make a video talking about that specifically and say that I don't quite believe that. Okay, so yeah, I know that's pretty weird, but I will explain that. I know I've literally made videos directly attacking people like MMO Byte, saying, hey, you shouldn't call games that aren't MMOs MMOs. I did a couple of rant videos like this or on similar topics surrounding it. I mentioned it over and over. There is a difference between what is an MMO and things that are not MMOs. That is why it's a genre name in the first place. I've even talked to Richard Garriott. He actually agrees with me on my personal definition of what an MMO is, which basically is a shared persistent world or instance of some kind, it's a big zone. Well, I guess it doesn't technically have to be big, whatever. It holds a lot of people, and then a lot of people can play with each other together. That's the massively multiplayer part, not the popularity. That doesn't mean shit, just because a game has 1 million players like League of Legends, it doesn't make it an MMO. So that's my definition of MMO, but in saying that, guys, and as proud as I am that more people are becoming aware that there is a difference between, just any online game versus an MMO, and that MMO isn't short for MMORPG. In saying that, though, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead of you guys and let you guys know that there are games, and there have been games, that released in one state as not an MMO and then became an MMO. There are games that have potential to be single player or co-op, and then also potentially massively multiplayer online. Now, that kind of goes a little bit deeper, I think, than a lot of you guys are really ready for. I don't know how many games or how many genres you've played. Hopefully you guys understand through schema, but then I guess I could say like Minecraft. Minecraft has MMO servers. Minecraft itself, debatably, it's not an MMO. It just has MMO portions. So when I put it on top 10s, now you'll notice that instead of just saying Minecraft like I used to, I'll say, hey, this specific server in Minecraft is an MMO. Because I think we can all agree what makes an MMO. An MMO is the online portion, which means the community, which might actually mean the specific server. Not only that, but there are some games that have limited time populations, and I think we're actually going to start seeing more weird stuff like that. So some games might have some big event, might have some new game mode or some new thing that might transform it into an MMO for a temporary time. This is probably going to be something that's going to branch off of, we see games like Crowfall and RANT, especially where they are doing these, timed campaigns, these almost seasons. They're trying to be a little bit more competitive. And even though they have persistent worlds, they have, a lot of players that come in and go. They're persistent, but they end. So if that makes sense, they're persistent until they end. They're not lobbies. They do persist. Players can jump in and jump out, but they do eventually end, and they do hold a massive number of players, minus RANT. So now there's another, that's the other example, I guess. So you have games like Minecraft, which have the option, they became possibilities for it to become an MMO. RANT is another game. Rust as well has that. Rust started out survival game, but there are MMO servers in Rust. Then we have RANT, which you can actually have your own private servers, and you can notch it up to an MMO scale. And RANT officially might, it's starting out early access. It's only got 60 players in a server, but they might bump that up. Another game that's coming out is Amazon's New World, which I actually got to play, though NDA. However, I can tell you that they're announcing the game at launch. It's going to have a lower player count than what they want at the end. At the end, they're aiming for like thousands or 1,000 players in that one persistent universe. So you do have these games that, if we make the definition of MMO to be basically lots of players, yeah, I mean, it actually kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That with technology, with timing, with events, things like that, with different flavors of different servers and different communities coming together, you can have a technical game, such as Minecraft, which is not as a whole an MMO, but may have parts that are an MMO, that make it an MMO, such as Ringcraft, whatever. A couple of MMO servers on Minecraft. So I like to, I really like these definitions. I like these hard definitions, these set definitions. So I've definitely made some videos talking about MMO. I've talked about MMO lights, which, may or may not should be a genre. I don't know. I definitely am trying to distinguish these different online interactions, these different mechanics. I think it's important. I went to school for game design, so I've got I got a hard on for it. I circle jerk on this stuff all the time. I love the juicy drama that MMO forums have. But before like we start really pushing and becoming really aggressive at just a hard definition for MMOs, we need to realize that technologies does change, that things can be a little bit more amoebus than what it first seems like. And that's the argument that, well, any game's an MMO, like chess. Chess is a 1v1 game, but it is an MMO because it has leaderboards. That's what MMOs.com literally said to me. Now, they always argue that, times change, technology changes. We have all these meta aspects, like For Honor has a meta map aspect, as well as Heroes and Generals, a few other games, a lot of MMO strategy games, which aren't real time. I do think that the definition should be real time, massively multiplayer online interaction. I do believe that that's really what it should be. So, those games like Clash of Clans maybe shouldn't be called MMOs anymore. And yes, I used to put Clash of Clans on videos. I really feel like you can look at World of Warcraft open world PvP, that's an MMO. Look at Guild Wars 2, the world bosses, that's a fucking MMO, right? Like, the difference between those games and then like the original Guild Wars 1, or like Diablo and Path of Exile. There's such a massive, literal massive difference in those games and how they play. They might look the same, but you define a game based on how it's gamed. MMOs are gamed differently. So yeah. But before we just like go super hard, sink our teeth into that, our fangs, and just kind of like crucify everyone else, such as MMOs.com, MMO Huts, pretty much anybody that has MMO in their name in any website, they define MMOs incorrectly, in my opinion, and toxically for the community. And more people are realizing this, but we need to realize that things aren't always as it seems. And that's coming from me. I'm the guy that started the wave. I'm the guy that's really fucking advocating for this, guys. But there are games that are wibbly-wobbly, wishy-washy. So, you complain about me putting RANT on MMO lists, but you can't have an MMO server, RANT. Dude, freaking, what's his face? Nerd Slayer, who does the Death of a Game series, is starting and helping out or running an MMO server. It's kind of like a medieval Rust MMO server thing. You guys should check that out. So this is something that I think should be explored more. More MMO channels and websites should be talking about these things. Of course, I think private servers should be talked about more, as well as these other games, these Minecraft private servers, these Rust servers, or these games that are just a little bit more wibbly-wobbly. They should be promoted more versus fucking League of Legends. No, stop it. Stop trying to promote stuff like that. I don't care. Stop talking about Monster Hunter. No, you're an MMO channel, you're an MMO site. What we should be talking about is, stuff like that. Stuff like the other servers, Ringcraft and the Rust servers and all that stuff. That's what's really important. So Yeah, before you just turn everything into is it an MMO or is it not an MMO or just anything that you think is binary, that's not always the case. And I think in closing, as the end cap here, I could just give a great example, right? So there's a new genre you might have heard of called Battle Royale, but technically the genre of game kind of existed for a while. Like the game mode has existed for a while. I used to play it in Halo, in Far Cry, in Mapmaker, and a few other games. You can play Battle Royale in those games, and it's been around in custom games for a while, but it only became a genre whenever games started to just focus on those mechanics. So, yeah, you can call a specific portion of a game an MMO, especially if it's a, persistent server. You can do that. That's fair, that's fine. I guess, try to make a distinction. Maybe don't say Rust as a whole is an MMO, but yeah, focus on those servers and name those in your top 10 lists and things and your reviews. Sure, absolutely. But as a community, just be aware that there is, there's some wiggle room, there's some gray areas, and I'll definitely be making more videos on that and, more controversial topics for sure surrounding the MMO communities and games and stuff and things. But that's pretty much it, guys. Much love. I said all I have to say. Hopefully now you'll go out and explore some of these different games. If you're an MMO player, hopefully now you can find some new games. And if you haven't seen my top 10 lists, you should probably go check them out because I uniquely actually inject those games. I actually try to show off those games and those communities. I'm going to be probably streaming those and playing those a lot. Hopefully you guys join me for that. I'd really appreciate it. And the last thing I want to say is actually, if you are an online gamer, you really like playing online games, I think we can all appreciate the fact that we play online with other people. So if you want to collaborate with me and do a dual stream or something, absolutely.